So, welcome back, episode 2 of the K20 swap. K11. Last video, well, the first video that we did, we cut the chassis leg, we made all these awesome mounts to make this a kit that we can produce to sell to you. And yeah, we've got the mock-up K20 A4 engine in situ. Now, what I need to do is I need to weld up the chassis leg that we cut for clearance in the first episode. And I also need to modify, box in and strengthen this cross beam as well. But I also need to mock up the drive shafts. Now, the drive shafts are going to take maybe 5 to 6 weeks to turn around. And it's also going to take me 5-6 weeks to do bits and bobs in between doing other bits and bobs, because we're also waiting for some other bits and bobs to come in, so we can do bits and bobs while we're bits and bobs. So let's do some bits and bobs. So yeah, we're going to mock up the drive shafts today, as first we're going to do before I take the engine out so I can sort that chassis leg. And if you cast your memory back to the spicy Micra, I had some drive shafts made for that. Unfortunately, I had measured them incorrectly. I had made the shaft too long, and it caused the drive shaft to bind in the CV cup when the suspension was compressed. So I've learnt my lesson. I know what to do this time. So what we need to do is we need to cut some drive shafts up. And as luck would have it, we do. We have everything we need because we've planned to do this in advance. So what we've got is we've got 2 donor K11 Micra drive shafts. We've got the long side for the driver's side, and then we've got the shorter passenger side. And all we really need from both drive shafts is the end bit. So we need to cut these roughly about there on both of them. And what we've also got here is 2 brand spanking new drive shafts, which Dave has sourced from K11, the boys. And the reason we've gone for new drive shafts and not used ones is the inner CV assembly was about the same price as a complete drive shaft, and we still needed the shaft anyway. So by the time that we had sourced 2 used drive shafts for the shaft stubs and then bought all the inner CV assembly, same price as a new drive shaft. So that's exactly what we've done. So there we go, brand new K20 drive shaft. And again, all we need off this is the inner CV. So we need to cut the inner CV off, obviously, of both shafts, and then the outer CV can essentially just be yeeted into the bin because we don't need it. Or maybe we can, I don't know, donate that outer CV to a Civic Cup boy or something. I don't really know. So yeah, we'll cut these up. Unfortunately, can't do these with a bandsaw because these are heat treated hardened steel. And as I found out when I did the mock-up for the K11s, is that these will chew a bandsaw blade in seconds. So I've got to do it the good old-fashioned way with an angle grinder. Now, boys, this next step is extremely important. I'm sure your wife, your missus, and your mistress will agree. But it's essential that you have a nice, clean shaft for this this next step of the tutorial. So there we go, we've got all of our stubs cut. Obviously we've got our inner CVs for the K20 box cut. It is a shame to cut up brand new CVs and brand new drive shafts, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And then we've got our stubs for the outer CVs. Now the outer CVs are currently bolted in situ in the hubs to stop the wheel bearings pulling apart if we were to move the car. Fortunately, we haven't since we filmed the last video, so I'm just going to go over, take the CVs out, we'll pop the CVs onto these drive shafts, and then we can start the mock-up process. Now, remember when I said a minute ago about the weak point on the Micra drive shafts where they snap? Well, if you see here, you've got a retaining groove for your CV cup, or your CV joint, and then on the inner part of the CV, you've got this second retaining ring. Now that retaining ring is to stop the CV joints going the opposite side of the circlip, but in reality, it's probably never going to happen. You know, once it's in situ, it's in situ. So when we get these drive shafts made, they will remove, well, they just won't machine this secondary groove for this retaining clip into the drive shaft, because when I've seen these drive shafts fail, they always fail at this point here. So these drive shafts we're going to have made are to a motorsport specification, and they're not going to have the same fate as all the other snap drive shafts. Okay, so here we go. We're going to put the Honda side in first. I think it just needs a little Jeremy Clarkson. Ow. Right, so that's the drive shaft fully seated in the gearbox. And then this is the Micra side going in. Just need to briefly put the lock or the drive shaft end on, so we don't end up pulling it out halfway through the process and completely messing up. And then we're going to use our trusted Vicky to... I'll do, pig. So what we need to do now is we need to obviously cut this shaft down to size, and we also need to make sure that we've got enough plunge depth in the CV, because what I did originally is I mocked up the spicy Micra drive shaft when it was quite high, and then when I did all the tub work last year so I could lower the car quite a bit, he actually messed up the drive shaft angle. So by the time the drive shaft angle was level, because I'd lowered it a further 2 inches, it actually pushed the inner CV and it was bottoming out on the inner of the CV cup. So I want to try and prevent that this time. Now, this car is on single perch coilovers. And now what that means is, as I'll show you, look, is that the suspension's not under any sort of preload. So because it's on single perch, I know you probably can't see on the camera, you might be able to, but because it's single perch, the coilover comes down at full droop. Whereas if you had like dual perch coilovers like Tom's has got, mine have got, you do get a bit of droop, but you don't get anywhere near as much droop as this. So what I need to do is, so there we go, a bit of compression on the spring. Obviously I don't want to lift the car off the lift, so about there will do. And that has made the drive shaft angle a lot better. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this inner CV out ever so slightly, maybe a couple of millimeters. I'm just going to get the pen, figure 8, the pen, and then we're just going to make a mark on the Micra drive shaft there, and that's where I'm going to make a second cut back in the secondo. So there we go, with a significantly shorter shaft. Men would tell you that it's cold outside, they're lying. So let's get the trusted Vicky again. That's that. And there we go, let's have a quick mock-up. Lovely, so we've got like a 2-3mm gap there. So that means we're going to pull the inner CV out just that couple of millimeters. And then if I just sort of hold the shaft here, look, we've got like an inch of plunge depth into that CV cup, so we've got enough engagement to stop it being pulled out at ride height. Then enjoy the compression. Obviously, when the suspension compresses, this goes up, which effectively makes the shaft go inwards. There's plenty of room there. Now, just to sort of give you some perspective, is that if I let the shaft sort of sit naturally, you know, we have got that 3mm gap still. So that plunge depth here is there from the factory, so we don't have to worry about that we're pulling it too far out to get our desired effect really on the shaft. So yeah, I'm happy with how that's come out. So what we need to do now is we'll take this back off the car. Let's trust in the help of Vicky again. And then we'll go over to the fab bench, and then we'll make a sleeve to attach these two pieces together. So I've managed to find two decent bits of tube in my stocks. This one here is a nice fit over the K11 shaft, and then this one is a nice fit over the K20 shaft. So I've been round to Ashic's Motorsport, who has kindly machined that down on his lathe. So this now is a nice snug fit inside the K11 shaft. So that means we can sleeve it essentially, and it'll be as straight as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down and this down to what I need to make the sleeves. Okay, so that is the passenger side drive shaft. So before we commit and weld this up fully, let's go and test fit it, shall we? Nice. Beautiful, beautiful. So again, we're on full suspension droop, so I'll bring you in, and as you can see from here, the drive shaft angle is pretty abysmal. But come up here, look, you can see that, you know, we've got a good 3.5 inches, 4 inches on the suspension droop. So what we'll do is we'll jack this wheel up again, and we'll make sure the spring sat into the spring cups, and then I can come back and show you. Look, I'll come back and show you the drive shaft angle. So we'll just do it until the spring is compressed. That'll do, lovely. And then there we go. That drive shaft angle actually isn't too bad. I mean, definitely happy with that. And if you can see from this angle, look, it has got a bit of an angle that way, but honestly, when you start to do like engine conversion to the stuff in, you know, things like this, you know, engines that weren't to be where they're meant to be from the factory, sometimes you've got to deal with compromises like that. Now, again, in the previous episode, we physically can't put the engine any further back that way because it interferes with the brake master cylinder. If you've got a left-hand drive version, you can push it all the way back, and you could probably get that second angle that way sorted out. Well, I've got to work with what I've got. But I honestly don't think the angle is going to be a problem. I'm pretty sure in the Spicy Micra it's the same angle in the opposite direction. So, yeah, really happy with that. So, let's get the drive shaft sorted. And same process. Let's go. Okay, so like I've already said, this is a reverse process of the other side. And now the difference being is that this side uses a half shaft system to reduce that torque steer Hondas are known for. So yeah, so this one has a different inner CV couple. The concept is the same. Ugh. Is that in? Is it in yet? I think that is in there. Happy days. So, in, we need Vicky. It's our babe. She's a good lass, our Vicky. £30 on Amazon, by the way, if you wanted your own Vicky. Okay, so same principle again. Obviously, we need to make sure we've got plenty of plunge. And again, the CV boot here is doing a pretty good job of keeping that all in line. Now, one thing I've noticed is straight away with this side is how short it is compared to this side by about an inch. No, a couple of inches actually. So this side, the inner CV is about 2 inches further in, and because of the half shaft, the CV comes out. So this drive shaft angle is going to be pretty funky. Pretty funky. So what we need to do is cut the drive shaft. We're going to make this one shorter and this one shorter even more, just because this shaft is even shorter, but I'm pretty sure with what we got there, more than enough. So let's get these off and then let's get welded up. Shaft. Okay, so that's the lower salon. Set the bottom. And I was coming back with the shaft. Big, thick, girthy shaft. Okay, so the easiest thing to do is lower the car down a touch. Just clear adjust the camera. Better. Okay, so let's make sure we've got the suspension under compression. So we've sort of the car off the ramp there, so beautiful. Look at that drive shaft angle. That is lovely. We have got our plenty of suspension, well, plenty of drive shaft plunge there in the CV. So that's it. That's the drive shafts mocked up. So we just need to remove them and strip the shafts down to the bare shaft, clean them up, and there we go. That's everything cleaned up, ready to send to the engineering firm. So they're going to require an inner CV tripod bearing to make sure that after they have cut the splines and it fits. And then they also require the outer CV. They only really require the part with the splines on, but I'm just going to send them the entire CV joint. And that is so they can make sure that the CV does fit the end of the shafts. So yeah, there we go. That is the shafts all mocked up for the K20 K11. So hopefully that was a bit of an insightful video for you into custom drive shafts. I'm going to leave that episode here because there's probably quite a bit of data to sort of ingest in this particular video. So yeah, that makes it for another episode in the K20 K11 saga. We're going to be chugging through this project pretty quickly because I want to get it done, and all you lot want to buy the mounting kits, the drive shafts, etc. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.